Taxation is theft.
Please, at least leave us alone in our living room.
My job is to find the truth.
Double the taxes. I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. Triple the taxes.
This is an IRS agent's dream.
If you think that the Capitol will ever treat us fairly, you are lying to yourself.
Beautiful, lovely taxes.
Sorry, but I don't do taxes.
Did you see the memo about this?
The government is a greedy piglet.
Just leave us alone.
Do you know what Ralph just said?
The roads.
You boys like Mexico?
I'm not gonna take this anymore.
And we're back. Okay, it's been a while since I started one of these live streams, so all kinds of technical issues over here, including I accidentally triggered the screensaver and lock screen right before I was supposed to switch it over to the feed. So welcome back, guys. So the show's been offline for I don't know, a long time now. It's been it's probably been more than a month. It feels like forever, but something happened yesterday that really pissed me off. So I figured this would be a good time to make a new show. We are going to do a complete relaunch, hopefully just in another 2 or 3 weeks. But I kind of wanted to bring this up because I think it's super important. So I guess let me just start with introductions. So we've got Joshuabdial here. A lot of you may know him from the Tiger King. I almost said the Lion King, but I think sometimes I call it that just to joke around. But the other Lion King for not for kids. Yeah. So Josh, he's been a libertarian for a long time. He's been an activist. We were just talking. I don't know. Can I say the A word? Do you publicly call yourself the A word?
Yeah.
All right, anarchist. I have to be careful with that because a lot of libertarians are like, "Oh yeah, no, don't use the anarchy word."
Fuck 'em. Oh, and by the way, it's Josh. Fuck the Feds dial. Yeah.
There you go. I like you even better now. He changed his middle name just like I did. All right. So yeah, and we'll get into the story of what happened yesterday or within the last few days. We'll get into that in a minute, but yeah, and so we've got Josh with us tonight, and we've also got Thomas with us tonight. Thomas is running for state senate in New York, District 23, 32, 52.
I'm on your SWAT team, Dan. You should know this.
I know. So is somebody in District 22 and District 30. Why couldn't they just name them?
We're all just a number.
Yeah, right. Next thing you know, I'm running for the office of Social Security number, and I'm gonna have to memorize everybody's Social Security numbers. That's gonna be a nightmare. So Thomas is also a disabilities advocate. He's helped a lot of people with a lot of things. I'll let you guys kind of get in because you can probably introduce yourselves better than I can. Yeah. So I guess let's just start there. Let's go with you, Thomas, first, because I know once we start talking to Josh, we're gonna get into the whole story and everything. So yeah, let's hear your side.
So one of the big reasons that I am running for state senate is that I am a disabilities advocate. And in New York, while we have an office for advocacy for those with disabilities, it's supposed to advise the governor on policy with regard to what people with disabilities need. It actually ceased to function when the Justice Center reorganized. Imagine that. The Office of Advocacy for Those with Disabilities ceased to function when the Justice Center reorganized itself. Doesn't seem very just, does it? And I'm on the board of a nonprofit, and I'm familiar with a bunch of other nonprofits that serve those with disabilities in different ways for different reasons. And they all scream out about this every year. Nobody listens. And so if I win my seat, I am the Office of Advocacy for Those with Disabilities, which now includes also the elderly and those with addiction problems. Because I'm sorry, certain hard drugs, once you go too far with them, there is no other way in which you sustain that kind of brain or behavioral damage that's not considered a disability. And the people who argue that, they just don't understand. And actually, a lot of those people happen to be drug addicts themselves. I'll remind people that alcohol is a class 4 narcotic, and it is the only inebriate known to man that is toxic to every single cell in your body. And here we are, a nation of heavy drinkers, right? And people don't understand that. Well, we need to fix that. I'm not saying that alcohol should be illegal because I'm a libertarian, but we should all be aware of these things when we make our choices. And we should all be aware of these things when we think about what a disability is. So, in that regard, for the last 6+ years now, give or take the month, what I've been doing is, well, it started with myself, right? Healthcare has quite often left me out of the picture. I had to go around the FDA to get the treatment that pretty much saved my life. It took my fracture rate from over 100 a year down to less than 1. And I had to do that through a study in Canada, the country where your dog can get an MRI the same day, but you might have to wait 6 months. From good old US, I had to go to Canada to get the drug that basically keeps me alive. And I was working on Daniel Berman's campaign when I discovered, while it costs $1,500 a day for treatment for me here in the U.S., to get the same thing in Mexico, it was like, what, 50 or 60 bucks for the drug itself, and then all you need is saline and someone to administer the IV. So $200 to $300 a day, right? I mean, think about that cost difference. And then we end up with everybody else in this kind of situation. I've been working with a gentleman in Gloversville, New York. He has other disabilities, but he's also diabetic type 1. His other disabilities cause him to get frequent infections. When you have diabetes and you have frequent infections, you need to use more test strips. But guess what? Healthcare only covers enough for a month, regardless of your infections. And so he ends up going a week or two a month without enough test strips. And with diabetes type 1, that can kill you. And so when he's through a surgery that he's enduring right now, and when he gets through all of that, we're going to try to crowdfund him a new device which actually reads your blood sugar through the skin without a prick, without strips, and it's reusable. So we're going to try to get him that either through services or crowdfunded if we have to. Pardon me, I was out canvassing today, and the ragweed is out. My allergies are driving me nuts. So, that's one example. Another example is wheelchair ramps. Depending on which municipality you're in, technically it should only cost you $200 or $300 to build a wheelchair ramp, but the state comes down and mandates the materials, mandates the permit, and mandates which contractor you can use, which has to be approved, and that's the cost of the contractor that gets passed on to the consumer. And so that $200 to $300 quickly becomes $2,000 to $3,000, and then they can't pay for entry to their own home because they're usually living on like SSI, and that's what, $860, $890 a month, somewhere in there, depending. How are you going to afford that? And the state
Black
is,
market ramps.
they're not giving you enough. Yeah, they're not giving you enough to cover the mandates that they impose on your costs. I mean, that's ridiculous. We're helping you by making sure you can't have what you need. Really? So one of the things I've done is when it comes to municipalities where those costs aren't so high, it's extremely easy, right, to just call a bunch of contractors and find somebody who's got some free time and some extra lumber laying around and just get that rip put in. That's the one I love. When we're talking like Syracuse or Binghamton proper, then it's a tougher battle. You have to find a contractor that's really willing to just pour it out of their heart and their wallet at the same time. And that's it happens, but it's a much harder battle. And we can crowdfund some of that, but why should we be crowdfunding permits for wheelchair ramps to a home someone owns? That's ridiculous. And then we have other situations. So in New York, and I'm gonna hit on Josh's issues here. In New York, through the systems of mental health and institutions, we have an average of 12 people a day die from abuse and neglect alone. Abuse and neglect in our mental health care systems. How is that mental health care, right? That's disturbing. And, we spend an awful lot of money making sure someone's disabled before we give them not enough help. So Why don't we? I mean, in my own case, I have to prove 16 times a year that I can't walk. I was born with a condition that meant I will never walk. I'm 37 years old. You do the math: man hours, paperwork, brick and mortar costs for the offices. That's a lot of money we're spending to not help people, and that's insane.
Sure.
So my race is about trying to change that. Let's get rid of these extraneous costs, these unnecessary costs. We should have a category for people we can identify as this guy's never going to walk, right? Or whatever the issue is. And therefore not waste that taxpayer money on not helping people and shift that over towards actually helping people. My wheelchair is crowdfunded because when I went to apply for the same exact wheelchair I'd gotten 5 times through both private and state insurance, they denied me because they changed their rules, and they were going to give me a chair that literally would have landed me in the bed within a few months of use. It would have injured me to sit in for a few months. But I ended up finding this one on eBay, and a couple of libertarians that I know had some real hard talks with me and convinced me to allow them to crowdfund it. And within a month, maybe 6 weeks, somewhere in there, we had crowdfunded it. And within 3 months, we had the chair created and shipped from Austin, Texas, and modified for my seating right here, right? 3 months total. That's what personal initiative can do. That's what direct help can do. To get a chair through the system takes 6 to 18 months. And repairs are similar time frames, right? I had both of my back wheels fall off on my trip to Orlando and back, and libertarians each time fixed it in 20 minutes. So the point here is direct help, right? Reaching directly out to someone you know, or directly out to someone who's asking for help, which takes a lot, by the way, to learn to ask for help. It took me 32 years. And
it's more it's more efficient for a lot of different reasons. It's going right from your hands right to the person who needs it. It's not like with government, you're paying taxes, and then you're paying bureaucrats, and then you're paying politicians, and then you're paying contractors and licenses and everything else. And it's completely inefficient. Most of the money that you donate to government in your taxes, which are helping so many people, like a fraction of that ever goes to help anyone. So I want to, while we're talking about this, I want to get over to Josh to tell his story about what happened recently, because Josh has been doing this fundraising. I don't know if you want to go back and tell the whole story of what you're fundraising for and why, but you had a fundraiser, it was going really well, and then it got shut down because we'll get into that conversation about how and why and why big tech companies suck and all that other stuff. We'll get into that later. But do you want to kind of give the backstory of do you want to kind of bring everyone up to date on the whole history of that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just make it short and sweet. I was working for a libertarian gubernatorial candidate, Joe Exotic, as his campaign manager. 6 or 7 months, 7 months before the election, his husband, Travis Maldonado, came in my office high on meth, sat 4 or 5 feet away from me, pointed a gun at me, and I said, "Hey, how dare you point a gun at me?" Because I'm and I believe in the Second Amendment, but I'm also no fool, and I believe in gun safety. Don't believe it should be a law necessarily, but I do believe in gun safety. I mean, you never point a gun, loaded or unloaded, at anyone. I think we can all agree. Anyways, I said, "Don't point that gun at me, Travis." And he said, "Hey, it's a Ruger. A Ruger won't fire without a clip." And then he pulled the trigger. And so he killed himself. Went through his right temple, through the left temple, and the bullet lodged into the wall, went straight through. From that evening, I had to go back in that office with the bullet hole still in the wall, with the blood stains still on the carpet, and go back to work. And go back to work every day for the next 7 months, 6 days a week, 14 to 16 hours a day in that office. And they never even bothered to put putty over the bullet hole. And so that fucked me up. Pardon my language. Um, like you can't. It was a total surprise. It's not like you said, Josh, I'm sorry, I'm gonna kill myself. I had no time to prepare at all. It just happened, and it created massive problems. So that's the story of the trauma. The problem is, people were very gracious, and I started to GoFundMe. Actually, Chrissy Witchers and Jess Mears actually started it for me. And
I can interject real quick, Josh.
yeah,
Most of us have seen the show, and we all saw the security footage. We saw that happen. We know that happened.
yeah,
So this is not anything you're making up. This isn't a lie. We all know what you went through. We all saw it on camera. I mean, that's about as straightforward and honest as it can get. I mean, that's why we like
yeah,
body cams on cops.
right. Well, and I actually haven't watched the series to this day. I have not watched it, so I don't know what's in Tiger King. I don't know how. All I know is they seem to portray me as as a sympathetic character, which I appreciate because I've been through enough, frankly. But anyways, I raised a significant amount of money. I drew some of it out to take care of my mental health care. However, uh, Joe Exotic has a grudge against me, and here's where it is. Um, I was asked to testify when he was on trial on his behalf, and I told his lawyer, and I told him the truth. I'm a man of integrity. I said, I will testify on Joe's behalf. However, I will not lie on the stand, and I will not perjure myself. I said, so yes, I will testify, but I'm afraid once the prosecution gets up there, since I will not lie and perjure myself, for someone who never really helped me, um, and who made me work in the office for 7 months after his husband committed suicide in that same office. Why would I perjure myself for someone who did that to me? So
At all.
I chose not to testify. I told him that, and so that made Joe mad. He instructed his followers and this Joe was very popular for doing this back in the day, getting enough of his followers to report campaigns and GoFundMe's and stuff like that and pages. And if enough people report, they'll shut it down and period. Shut it down, period. Just period. GoFundMe sent me an email, and I provided the documents showing that, where I've been paying my meds and all that. They felt like, it wasn't enough due to the sheer number of complaints. Basically, there were so many trolls that had nothing better to do with their life than ruin my mental health, that they decided to do that. And I don't know why. So $15,000 down the drain. Here I am. I've been off my meds for 3 weeks. Someone today very generously donated, so I was able to see my doctor. But I have $300 in medication and $500 therapy bill, and I cannot get my medication without going to therapy. So I'm in a bind, and people really need to pay attention, um, um, to these corporations, and how they really don't care about the people. They pretend to be GoFundMe, we're here to help, but at the end of the day, all they want is interest, and they don't care the fact that I watched a man blow his brains out and I need help. Yes, and I'm sorry, you do need money for help, to buy medicine. You do need money to go to therapy. You do need money. I hate to ask it. I'm a proud person, and I hate to ask it, and especially since so many people donated so much already. But like I said, it's shut down. It's gone. You can search it. It's not there. It's gone. It's all that money's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So that's where I'm at. I mean, I know I've got Venmo, Cash App, and Zelle, things like that, and that's all I'm going to do from now on. I even tried to do a Facebook fundraiser, and it raised $2,000, and it got shut down, and I did not see one penny out of that. And then very recently, I just moved into a new place. I have no furniture at all. So I tried to start a fundraiser, and with fears of that getting shut down as well, I went ahead and ended the fundraiser and lowered the goal so it ended the fundraiser. Because I'm scared to death these people are just going to keep ruining. I mean, I need this stuff. I've got a family to take care of. I need a couch. I need a bed. I need, and it's just
And you're
people are
not,
cruel.
So,
and you're not. I know there's like a, just to kind of help the to paint the full picture here. You're not sitting around bumming it out. You've got a job now secured that you're going to start soon.
Yeah. Yes.
It's not like you're just, like, I want to start the sentence by saying, forgive me for saying, but not really. Like, you're not like one of these like entitled commies out in Portland that are like, oh yeah, they should give us everything for free. You're obviously a libertarian. And you're that's not the case at all. But it's interesting, and like Thomas has said, there's haters out there, and especially that they're using this against you. Some people are going to say things and do things that are politically motivated or I don't even know if you can call that political, but because they're in love with Joe Exotic, they're gonna be his
or
followers,
because they have their own unaddressed psych issues.
right. The Charles Manson followers.
Right.
Which is weird. Like, I mean, it's absolutely insane that he's in jail. I mean, I don't know what kind of access he has to kind of be broadcasting these messages to his followers, but like, I know I've got my friend in jail for being a lawyer, for representing somebody in the drug war, and they didn't like that, so they put him in jail, and you can't even talk to him. I can't even talk to him. So but apparently this guy's giving instructions for people outside of jail. But it's absolutely nuts, and a lot of it's unfounded, and it creates like all these rumors and fake news that people, oh, I heard this, and they start propagating all this information. And one of the things I want to talk about is, because we talked about this yesterday. Well, first, before we get into this, I just want to say I just posted all the links to your Cash App, Venmo, and Zelle in the chat. It's also in the comments for the video. So if you're watching this and you wanna help us out, you want to help Josh out, go ahead and send a few bucks. If you can send 10, 20, 30 bucks, it's really gonna help. We're just trying to raise another 300 by the end of the night. But
If I can add, Dan.
Yep.
Direct help does not involve taxation. It is not forcing anyone, and it doesn't involve government waste. It doesn't involve moving that money to something else. It doesn't involve lobbying. It just involves reaching out to someone who needs help and is asking for it and actually helping them. It doesn't involve these wasteful systems that are forced upon us.
Right. And I want to make something clear. And I appreciate you guys, posting this. I am a dues paying member to the Libertarian National Committee and to the state of Oklahoma's Libertarian Party. And so I understand this is the libertarian way, is when you need help, you go to the private sector, you go to the community, you go to your people. I do have a job lined up, however, as anyone knows that's ever had a job, it can take anywhere between 3 to 5 weeks before you get a paycheck.
Right.
And furthermore, it's almost impossible to work a job when you cannot take your meds and get stable enough to work a job. So I want to make that clear. Yes, I do have a job lined up, but at this moment, before the pharmacy closes here in just a couple hour and a half, if I don't come up $300, I mean, I'm going to start my job,
Unstable.
I'll be fired instantly because I'll start cycling. I'll have a PTSD episode. I'll freak out from all the people. So I would really appreciate all the help. And, I want to make this clear too. In addition to being a dues paying member of the state national party, every podcast I go on, every interview I do, every radio talk show I do, everything I do that's broadcasted to the public, I always talk about libertarian principles and ideals and Joe Jorgensen and Spike Cohen, and I always stay true. All you got to do is look through every single one of my interviews and stuff, and you will see that I always manage to bring up liberty. So I am using what little star power I do have to spread messages of liberty to people. I had some folks that a gentleman from Chicago that so generously paid an all expense trip for me to come to Chicago. I'm sure people, if you're my Facebook friend, you saw that, and paid for everything. And yes, he's a Democrat, but you know what? I'm an anarchist and a libertarian. But at the end of the day, I'm not one of those people that's just going to say, fuck you, you're a Democrat. If I think that we can accomplish some liberty, even, one step at a time, and people are fucking dying out here, guys. People, I mean, I don't know, y'all know this. People are in cages for putting a plant, i.e., marijuana, in their body. Could we not at least work with the Democrats and Republicans and at least get these people out of the cage? Of course, the goal is a life set free, in our lifetime, set free in our lifetime. But like for now, can we not try? We can work with these people without compromising our principles. I went to Chicago for a week with Democrats and preached liberty and did not compromise my principles once. We can do this and get these incremental steps and do stuff like with mental health, like you were talking about earlier, and disability health. You're right on the mark. And sorry, I'm getting passionate because, I mean, this is what I'm serious about. Like, I mean,
you're actually talking about exactly what I've been doing with my campaign for the last couple of months. I tell you what, New York, I have taken some serious heat for it, talking to Democrats. And, I'm still going to do it because, let's talk about New York for just a minute. New York is a heavily blue state.
Right.
The Democrats have the power, and the Libertarian Party grew and is new and grew from the right most. But we're, if we don't draw from the power base, we're not going to draw power. And as a third party, we need to increase our political pull. We need to increase our optics, right? So by going out and talking to the left myself, I landed a TV interview that's going to happen later this week.
Exactly.
Without really trying. I just showed up.
Right.
And Josh, you're absolutely right. We need to be able to talk to everybody. We need to be able to do it without the disdain or the vitriol. We need to be able to be open-minded. And the right's over here and the left's over here, and they battle each other. And we need to be right here, right in the middle. We need to be right there in the middle, going, "Hang on, guys, let's talk about this."
Amen, brother. Amen, brother.
Yeah, and there's a pretty big distinction too, like between, I mean, we look at the politicians, and I know Tom, you've met a couple who don't fit this description, but in general, we look at the politicians from the Democrats and the Republicans, and we're like, yeah, these guys are all schmucks trying to rip us off, steal our money, invest in programs that are going to suck, take away our liberty and everything else. But when we look at the voters in those parties, most of them are not like that. Most of them, if anything, they're misled to believe that, yeah, that's the way to fix everything. But ultimately, most of them, there are plenty of bad people out there, but most of them are generally, they've never been told of a better answer. And, if we don't hang out with Democrats and Republicans, they're never going to hear about it. So, yeah, we should definitely not isolate ourselves and kind of create that echo chamber, that for some reason libertarians are always complaining about the echo chamber, but they don't like to get outside of the echo chamber. Ooh, you went outside.
And they're some of us are addicted to fighting, right? So to speak to that just a little more, I was at this People's Protection March. There's been 4 that I've been at. Unfortunately, I missed the 5th because I didn't have a driver. But at one of these, I was talking to a Democratic socialist. And guess who's now a libertarian?
Yep. I've got tons of folks that just from watching me on Tiger King have messaged me, probably at least 100, easily 100 people saying, "You're right. Fuck the feds. Do your job." And I'm a libertarian now, and send me pictures of their libertarian registration. Like, it's been amazing. Like, and I always said that if I could just get one person, just one libertarian on board, I'd call it a win. And I ended up getting about 100 just from saying fuck the feds and do your job, which is true. And especially now we're in a pandemic where the government has failed the people and in the most heinous way. No one wants to fucking. They shut the economy down and put these businesses, mom and pop businesses and everything, out of business. Have been in business for hundreds of years. These jobs will never come back. Not under Democrat and Republican administrations, at least.
That's a very good point.
Fucked us on that.
That's a very good point, because small businesses in this country account for 40% of our employment. And
yeah,
I'm going to go ahead and take a shot at my opponent. He failed to show up for the vote government overreach, where they removed words like reasonable from the emergency powers of the governor. He failed to show up. He was absent. He didn't do his job, right? He also works as a police officer, and he gets paid $130,000 for working as a senator for 6 months of the year. Now, he didn't show up for the most important vote of his career. And then a week or two later, he came out, and these are the words he used, begging. He said, I'm begging you, Governor Cuomo, don't use these powers that I didn't bother to show up and vote on. It's amazing, right, that these people will do this. And, I can go a little further, right? The incumbents, the people who have been indoctrinated in their parties, right? They've been there a while. They're the serious problem, because they've been purchased and they've been manipulated and they've been overhandled. And to that note, there are three newer two-party candidates that I have had send me a message committing to switch to Libertarian after the election, whether they win or not. I'm not going to mention their names because I want them to win.
Yeah, I want to go back to this other point that Josh brought up about, you reached 100 people. And I know, when we talked yesterday, like, you had a lot of frustration about the haters, all the negativity online. And this is something I've gone through too. And like, and I'm sure there are other people. I mean, cyberbullying is like one of the biggest things that we haven't heard about it much recently because everyone's talking about COVID-19, but over the past couple of years, we've heard a lot about cyberbullying, and it's not just, it's not just kids fighting each other. I've seen adults doing this. I've seen government employees doing this. Elected officials are, they're bullying us when they tell us, yeah, if you don't put on your mask, we're going to throw you in a cage. They're bullying us when they tell us, you can't smoke weed or we're going to throw you in a cage. Like all of this stuff, it really comes down to bullying, and to different degrees. Some people say we're going to do violent things to you, like throw you in a cage, or we're going to hurt you, we're going to shoot you, we're going to kill you. Surprisingly, a lot of the anti-gun people are very violent. If I saw some guy open carrying a gun, I would take it from him and I would shoot him.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's nuts, but it's all bullying and it's violence. But what I want to point out is, we see a lot of this, and it's really, I've seen a lot of this even with my campaign, right? A lot of people come out and say, oh, libertarian is stupid, and you're an idiot, and like all these things they say to me, like I don't even remember, because I just like ignore the stuff, right? But yeah. I see it, and it's like it's there, and sometimes it's like, when you're trying to do something good, you're trying, like with my campaign, like everyone's like, oh, you're not going to win, and it's like, yeah, that was kind of never the point. The point has always been to share this information and knowledge with people to kind of change the way that we think about the responsibility and the purpose of government, and that's the real purpose. And I've reached so many people with that message, and and what's interesting is the way it works is like when people see that message, like a lot of people will like it, but they won't say anything. They'll just quietly be like, hey, yeah, that was cool. And then they'll talk to their friends about it. They'll share it and, all that kind of stuff. But they never go back and sometimes they're just like, or especially if it's something that's rare, like, libertarianism, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I heard this thing, but I don't know if I should talk about it or say I agree with that, because what's the rest of the world going to think about me, right? And so...
I actually have a lot of trouble in New York getting libertarians to come out of the closet and say they're libertarians.
Exactly. And so you have a lot of support, a tremendous amount of support, but you have so many haters, and the haters are just like that. Like, actually, I don't even want to say you have so many. I shouldn't have said those words at all. There are, I guess, out of the haters, most of them are very, very loud. They're few, but they're loud. And this is the same.
What it is.
Yeah, and like even I hear the same thing about Trump supporters, right? Like you see these Trump rallies where people are like, you see all the racists come out and they're like, yeah, Trump, 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 and it's like, yeah, most of the people who voted for Trump aren't like that. You see the somebody brought up an interesting point about the protests in Portland, where somebody from Portland was telling me like, yeah, somebody thought like, why would you? They asked me, why would you ever want to live in Portland when all this stuff is going on? And he was like, yeah, that stuff's only like in like a 5-block radius of downtown. Like I live a half a mile away, and when we're just talking about a city that's like 1,000 blocks wide. But all we see on the media is the negativity and like the crazy stuff that's going on,
Right.
and I don't think that's emphasized. That's how to deal with bullying and false information and false narratives and all this other stuff is not something that they teach us in school, because they just want to.
It's psyops, man. I had this conversation with Ken Armstrong. I mean, what we see in the media and the messaging that they purport, the way they over-exaggerate or only focus on that which they can use to make us upset or angry or mad at each other. That's literally the same psyops that we use on foreign countries in the Middle East.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
it's
now
illegal on our own rules.
Right. And so I guess what I'm getting at is like Karen says, build a killdozer. She was watching the documentary last night, I think, or the movie. I don't even know if it's a movie or documentary. I don't think I can get it down here in Mexico.
I'm driving that killdozer.
Yeah. We were talking about building our own killdozer, but that's another story. But yeah, it's not just something that government does anymore. It's like, and I think it might have been because government and media have kind of made it acceptable public discourse to like for people to like yell angry things at each other.
Well, they're in bed with each other because they both only care about ratings and votes.
Right, but now like all the individuals who are all over the internet are doing the same thing to each other. We see it in public. We see people being rude to each other in public.
It's a mass psychological effect.
Yeah. So I think that's like a really important point of focus on this. But so here's another thing I want to talk about, and we talked about this yesterday. Is one of the things that people say is Josh, since you were on Tiger King, you must have like millions of dollars. You must be a billionaire because you're famous. You're all over. You've been on every TV set across the country.
That's bullshit, though, because we're making a documentary probably after the campaign. We've been collecting footage of the campaign, and we've investigated all these routes. And A, it's really hard to get something put on Netflix because their standards, and B, they don't pay a dick. $3,000 to $5,000 at best for the whole production. You're going to spend more money making it than you'll actually get in return. So how is one person who was in the documentary going to make all that money? That's not how it works. I can tell you for a fact that we've researched it. We've looked into it. We do not make money on Netflix documentaries. It does not happen. That's not what it's there for. That's not the way it works. What you can do, if you're in the business, is make a name for yourself and maybe get paid later on a different project.
Right.
If you're in the production side of it, right, or if you're the cameraman, right, but you're not going to as someone who was in a documentary collected footage. So I think when we do ours, it's just going to go on YouTube for free. Yeah. But I'm going to reiterate this. There's no way Josh made any kind of significant money whatsoever, and I believe he hasn't made any on being in the documentary. That's just a ridiculous notion that you could look this up. It's on their website.
Well, and you're right on, and you're right on. And furthermore, the documentary released at the beginning of the stay-at-home order pandemic, which meant that I was not able to go to the local casino and get paid $2,000, to do a show, or get paid to go to a bar as a special guest, or get paid for private parties. I wasn't able to do that because there was a fucking goddamn pandemic. Well, I wouldn't call it a pandemic. I call it a fucking flu. Let's be honest. But and I'm sorry if that offends y'all, but I mean,
as Thomas coughs.
I'm more worried about Ebola or hantavirus or Marburg getting virulent than I am COVID-19.
Yeah,
I've got a lot of friends who are doctors, and that's what their concern is people are getting complacent with COVID-19. And if 10 years down the road, a 90% kill rate virus gets air-to-air transmission, what's going to happen? It might be the end of civil fucking. So that's my concern. That's why I don't say necessarily yes. COVID-19 is deadly. My former fiance, his grandmother is actually about to pass or taking her off her tube. She has COVID-19. So like I'm not wearing any like tinfoil hats about COVID-19. It's real and it's ravaging people. So don't get me wrong, but like I just really wanted to make the point that we also like that's another thing the government fucked up on. Because what happens when the generation that didn't get to graduate this year because they couldn't go to school is voting age, and or they're old enough that Marburg or Ebola does indeed become transmittable, like just as easy as COVID is. If those diseases were as easily, which is possible, it's possible.
This comes back to an old saying that we've seen governments, including our own, really follow for a long time. Never let a good crisis go to waste.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the generation that this government has fucked over, they're going to remember it. I really do. Of course, I'm hoping. I always hope, and I'm an atheist, so I don't pray. But if I can't have a gold wave, I'm going to say that it's probably going to be a blue wave. I know a lot of people are going to challenge me on that and say that Trump's going to get reelected, but frankly, just frank talk, because that's what I'm known for. And I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I don't see a path to 270 for Donald Trump. I don't see one. I really don't. I think that the Democrats have the October surprise for the Democrats is that they're going to have Trump on Epstein's flight log, or maybe even worse, is like pictures or videos. I really believe it. Like,
isn't Biden?
I really believe it, and that's going to be the October surprise. And Epstein is like a pop culture phenomenon, right? Like everyone knows who Jeffrey Epstein in the world. Like everyone in the world knows who that motherfucker is. Like not just libertarians. Everyone knows who Epstein is. And if it comes out that he was going on the Lolita Express, with the economy crashed, with the pandemic, with him skimping out and waiting on getting, instead of just sending out the checks, not getting this party together and sending out the checks to people because he shut their fucking businesses down. And by the way, that's their money anyways. The government's been stealing from them for their whole lives through taxes.
Let's hear it. Fuck the feds, right?
Fuck the feds. Absolutely.
Josh, we do only have a few minutes left before I have to get to my next meeting. And I want to take the opportunity. I'm a disability advocate. I've worked with psych issues before, and you know what it is you need. We had a conversation before the show. It's very obvious that you are sincerely in need. And if anyone out there could donate to Josh, I believe Dan's put the links up. Give him $20, give him $30. Help him get that $300 tonight so he can go get his medicine. It's important.
Thank you. And I really appreciate everyone. And I'm just going to continue to do the best I can for liberty. And that's the best I can do. Hopefully I can get the 300, get back on my meds, go to work tomorrow. Because these meds, I haven't been off of them quite long enough that it's going to take the full 90 days for them to kick in. I mean, it should be almost instant relief. I've had plenty of instances where I've had to go off my meds for multiple weeks, and generally, if I get them within 3 weeks, as long as it's not a month or longer, then I don't have to go through the. I don't know if people are familiar with psych meds, but they take anywhere between 30 to 90 days to work, sometimes even 6 months. Mm-hmm. So I'm desperate.
On that note, Josh, if you need somebody to talk to, if you need to reach out, you've got me on your Facebook. You can call me, you can message me.
Yeah.
I know it's not the same as medication, but sometimes just talking to somebody helps.
No, it is. It is for sure. You're right. You're right. You're right.
And
It, it
I also want to point out that we were talking about this before we went live. So if you did donate before, they are going to be issuing refunds. But this is, of course, another way that they've totally fucked this up because we don't know how long those refunds are going to take, and if people start asking for refunds, then because there's a certain so it's not like you received all this money and you took it out and stuck it in your bank account and blew it all on casinos or whatever. This money, you were taking it out as you needed it and you were leaving it in there in the GoFundMe account. And so what they did is they seized how much was still left there that they seized.
I don't even know, and uh, you know, basically, I just I don't want to get too upset because I don't have my meds. And like I just like basically I feel victimized. Like I I I think I just rather not talk about it. I just don't want to start crying on y'all's podcast.
Well, let's focus on the positive perspective here,
Yeah,
Josh. You need $300 to get your medication. Let's get Josh $300.
Right.
do what?
Well, as I guess I just wanted to make sure that if so anybody who's listening who has already donated, I just wanted to make sure.
Let me just pull I have the email right here. What it says is anyone that has donated. Let's see. Anyone that has donated will be refunded within 90 days.
Right, which is, and this is another one of these big fucking corporations that's basically like, yeah, we're gonna
Right.
sit on all the money for 90 days and make interest on it. But
Right. Right.
so,
Exactly.
but
Yeah.
but this is just to let you know that like we're not trying to scam you here and say, yeah, we're trying to make you donate twice. Hopefully this company at least is going to be good on that and refund whatever money was in the account. And but at this point, obviously we can't wait 90 days. We do need to try to raise that money tonight. So if you can look at the comments, there's and the reason we're doing this again, we're doing it direct with Cash App, Venmo, and Zelle. Is because this is something, it's direct. It's something he can get the money tonight and get the medication and not have to go through another setup process and wait for the funds to transfer through banks and everything else. We really want to try to get this tonight.
Who wouldn't pay $300 if they had it to save another life? Really?
Right.
What kind of a jerk is going to sit here and not do that?
Full disclosure, I do only have 1 hour and 1 minute before the pharmacy closes, and I mean, the night med is my bipolar med, and that's the most important one. It's also my sleep med, so I've been only getting about 2 hours of sleep a day since I've been off my meds. So 8 hours of sleep and no nightmares to start work would be great.
And I truly believe Josh is on his way. He's got a job lined up. He's gonna make good on it. And what's $300 to find out, really? Let's just help it. It's not that hard. There's no government involved. There's no waste involved. There's no taxation involved. You're just giving directly to someone who needs. And that saved my life. Let's do that again.
I mean, I even have I think I have a packet of Joe Exotic rolling papers if someone wanted to buy them, but I mean that's my last pack, and I mean they're going to be worth an exorbitant amount of money if they're not already. They were when it first came out, but when he dies, they're going to be, or when part 2 comes out, which I can't say anything else beyond that. Breaking news, but it's going to go even higher. So I'm loath to part with them, but at the same time, if someone wants that or a bumper sticker, I can mail you a bumper sticker. I think a bumper sticker, or I have his live TV film crew shirts that he made all the employees wear. And as any campaign manager knows in the Libertarian Party, if you are the campaign manager, you're also the photographer, videographer, video editor, press secretary, communications director, um, uh, limo
My campaign
cleaner.
manager is sitting in the corner here nodding his head.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like vacuuming the limo before you go, hand washing the fucking windows, like that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he turned 3 shades of red today. The sun canvassing.
So yeah, I mean, I did it, and I did it for pennies, which sucks. So, I wish I would have kind of like, I don't know, um, I don't know,
Well,
That's
Josh,
that's
I
how
really hope
libertarian
you get the
campaigns
help you
run.
need.
I mean, no, it's not that I did not. No, I kind of misspoke that. What it is, uh, like after the accident and after Travis, like he never once gave me a penny to like go get counseling. Like I had to use that money from the small amount of money he paid us, paid me to run his campaign and to be his photographer and videographer for the zoo as well as for the campaign. Like he never gave me a day off to go see a counselor. He never gave me enough money to get a counselor. I was working as a private contractor, so there was no way to get insurance. I mean, what's a man to do? I mean, what the hell am I supposed to do? You
Well, you're
know,
doing it, Josh.
I don't, I'm
You're
not
taking
trying
the
to be
big
a
step and
drama
asking
queen
for
or
help.
anything. Do what? Do
You're
what?
doing it. You're taking that big step and asking for help. I mean, that was a huge step in my life a few years ago when I learned to start asking for help. And
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay to ask for help.
Yeah, I just uh it, it's okay not to be okay. But I just hope like I said, I guess I'm down to 57 minutes to get to the pharmacy. So if anyone's out there, I will send you something. I don't
So
know, whatever campaign memorabilia I might have, I will mail you. Just whatever it takes to get that $300. I just really need the help, please, please, please. If anyone's out there um, that suffers from PTSD, how this is, and how and just please help.
and we've got Mercedes is just I just replied to her comment. She's asking how much. So hopefully she can donate a little bit. But yeah, and this isn't a whole lot we're asking for. It's $300. Joshua's raised a lot of money. Of course, he doesn't have access to that right now. Um, and let's see. And yeah, she just says she. Did you just receive $50? You want to check your phone?
Let me see. I didn't want to be rude and like be over here on my
Oh
phone.
yeah, no, absolutely. We're doing like a let's make this like a
Yes,
what is it? Telethon.
Mercedes, thank you very much. Yes, I did just get $50.
Awesome,
So now just 250 then. So
awesome.
250. Well, technically like 295 because I've got like $3 cash and it's like 298 total. So like 295. So 295 minus 50. So
$245.
$245. So
All right.
Give me my
I mean,
phone.
that that
Dan,
that that right
send it to
there
me.
that right there helps a lot. Thank you so much, ma'am. It really means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. If you'd like a bumper sticker or anything like that, add me on Facebook and I'll get you something. Or if you're a fan of the show, I'll like FaceTime you and hang out with you and get to show off to your family or whatever. Like whatever you'd like,
Well,
do a free.
I'm gonna match Mercedes' donation right now as soon as Dan sends me a link in Messenger.
Thank you very
Do you
much.
want the Cash App or the? So we've got I
What are
guess
my
that's
options?
that's kind of one of the limits that's probably holding us back here. So Cash App, Venmo, and Zelle.
No, yeah.
Dan, how about I send you $50 and you send it to him?
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Actually, let's you know what? Let's do that for anybody that has PayPal. I'm gonna put a PayPal link because I know we're like in this stupid technology world. I'm gonna put a PayPal link in here. And if anybody wants to send me the money, if you have PayPal, if you don't have the other apps, send it to me and I will send it right back along. So Tom, I'm going to send you this. We're laundering money here live on Taxation is Theft.
I plead the fifth on whether I have or have not done that in the past.
Okay, so Tom, I just sent you a link. I'm going to put this, let's see, PayPal link. If you want to do the PayPal, I just posted the PayPal link. It should be showing up everywhere. Yeah, Mercedes is saying if we raise more than we need for meds, see if you can get 3 months worth, because I did that and it was so expensive. Yeah, absolutely.
I would, but I mean, we got 53 minutes. But like before the pharmacy closes, so
right now we're focusing on reaching that one goal, and you know, tomorrow we can talk about raising some more for the future.
And if you could just confirm that you got that.
Let's see.
But I mean, I don't know how many. I don't see comments or anything like that. But if anyone has any questions, I might be able to answer that would make them feel more comfortable donating. I'd be more than happy to answer questions or kind of do AMA.
That's a great idea.
I'm more than happy to be completely open. You can ask me any question. I'm more than happy to be open. I mean, you guys are helping me out. I will literally answer anything. And I think, you know,
how much wood would a woodchuck chuck? A woodchuck could chuck wood.
Exactly, 3 logs worth.
You know, I don't think any, because I think Donald Trump Jr. is gonna end up just like continue his exotic animal massacre, and he's gonna go for woodchucks once he killed all the big game.
You know, Ron, here woodchuck's good eating.
Really?
Yeah, I got a friend that makes it taste like pulled pork.
You know, I've only seen like 2 woodchucks in my life. I never knew that. I'll have to eat. Where do I go to eat woodchuck?
Mount Upton, New York.
I've never been to New York. I've always wanted to go, but I'm hoping like this Anarchon and this other convention where they're paying for my flight, paying for my meals and all that, so I'm able to do it. Like I'm hoping that someone in New York is gonna be like, hey, you want to come and speak at X con or whatever kind of con, because I gotta see New York. I want to see DC too, but mainly I gotta go to California too, because I am gay, and I feel like being a 31-year-old gay male and not being in DC is like a cardinal sin. Or not DC, I mean LA. Or California.
Okay, so I just want to answer a couple of these questions that are coming in.
Okay, sorry.
I can't type to them. So there's a question: how can you donate from Canada? Dorinda's asking if you. I posted. I'm going to post this again. It's a PayPal link. That's going to send the money to me. If you have PayPal, and I'm going to forward it to Josh, which, by the way, Josh, I just forwarded you the 50 from Tom. So you should have that. If you don't have PayPal, we can do Cash App. We can do, okay.
I also have Facebook Pay, like through Messenger. So like
can
if
you
you're out
receive
of country,
that?
but I can receive that. And I think that deducts even less than,
okay. So Dorinda, if you're on, it looks like you're on Facebook.
Let me get my phone. Yeah, I haven't got the other 50 I got the 50 from Mercedes. Did you send it through Venmo
Through
or
Cash App. Let me make sure I
yeah?
sent
Oh,
that.
Cash App. Okay, that's why. Gotcha. Okay,
Um,
well, let me verify that.
yeah,
That way we're good there.
Venmo won't
So,
verify my account. The age of
really?
technology sucks.
Yeah, I am a candidate for Senate, and my campaign manager is sitting here. If you have more money than what Josh needs, go to tom52.com. Consider a donation.
Yes, send
Yeah.
to Tom also. And I'm not
Hey,
raising anything tonight. Anything you send me, I'm sending straight to Josh. So Dorinda send him a direct message, and you should be able to use if you can use the Facebook pay to send him money that way.
yeah.
Um,
And I was also gonna say, you know, if you want, if you would like, Thomas, if you would like, I don't know how you feel about, the fact, who I am, and if it would be hurtful to your campaign, but I'd love to help your campaign, if even if I was to be able to do a video or an endorsement or something like that. If you
My
think that
campaign
I can
manager
help,
was shaking his head yes.
as someone who just got a relationship with someone who's disabled, like you speak, like your campaign, your message, your story, your struggle speaks to my heart. And I mean, I guess, if I was to go to the government and get a check, technically, yes, I would be disabled too, because of all the PTSD and the bipolar and the anxiety. Shit, the anxiety alone can get you disability.
What people don't
So
realize is all the oppression that comes with that check.
yes, exactly. And I learned that also from being with Jackie. Absolutely.
So we'll
Absolutely.
definitely get together and do that. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
we'll
for
just have
sure, for
a
sure.
special fundraiser with the two of you.
Okay, so you'll say,
so
okay, so I'm supposed to get on Facebook Messenger. Okay, I
yeah,
got the Cash App and I got the Venmo here. Let's see, Facebook Messenger.
so
Sorry
that's
it takes so long because I've got a
1, 2. Oh no, that was yeah. So we've got 100 now. So we've got
right.
about 200 left.
So two, yeah.
Um, and just so everybody knows, I did give Josh something yesterday. I'm not sitting here trying to ride on
Yes.
everybody
Oh,
else's
yes. And
donations.
yeah. I thought I mentioned that, but Dan, thank you so much. So what Dan did for me is, like I said, in order to get my medication, and this sucks, and this needs to be changed. Like people, like someone in the government needs to change this. And I know this may be not be the most libertarian position, but in order for them to continue prescribing me non-narcotic, life-saving medication, they required me to pay my bill at the doctor's office. I think that's wrong. This is psych meds. This is not Lortabs or Xanaxes or Botox injections. It's fucking life-saving medicine. So Dan, thank you so much, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even have the chance to get the meds tonight, because I would have to raise another 200. So thank you so much, Dan. You're
Absolutely.
you're a true gentleman, and you said you're going to be an Anarchon.
Yeah, I am.
I can't
We're gonna be
wait.
hanging out
I
there.
can't wait, brother. I'm speaking on kind of like running insurgent campaigns, since Joe was like an insurgent candidate. But I'm gonna make sure like no one else is doing that, because I've got a couple other things in the tank. But I'm so excited. That's gonna be
Awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like
Y'all
it's gonna
can
be a
send
great
me a
time.
souvenir, by the way.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's gonna be, from what I understand, we're gonna be camping out. So I mean, I can send you a rock or a
Or, send me a
pe-
dirty happy too. That
piece
works.
of wood or something.
Yeah.
My wood chuck.
Yeah, so
Is
you can.
there was the person that reached out to me Dorinda?
Dorinda, yeah.
Okay, I tried to message her back. She says, "How do I send money through Facebook?"
There
And
should be
I
a
can,
dollar.
yeah,
I think
I
there's like
can,
a.
I can request an amount, but I asked her how much she was wanting to send, and that, like, I need to know an amount that she'd be willing to send. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
So if she's in the comments, maybe she can.
Yeah, so Dorinda, if you're watching, keep an eye on that chat, and just
Yeah, yeah, because in order to request it, I have to put an amount to request. Um, but yeah, was there any other questions while we're
yeah.
waiting
So
for
so
Dorinda?
Bob is asking just to repost the links. So I'm gonna repost these for you. So I'm gonna send. This is my PayPal link. Actually, Dorinda, let me say this too. If you don't have PayPal, you can go to my PayPal link. If this makes it easier, you can go to my PayPal link, and type in your amount, and when you go to the next page, oh shit, no, this one's making you register. Okay, hang on a second. Let me do this.
Okay. Give me my water.
Sorry, Tom, I'm holding you up. I know you've got a meeting to get to.
Yeah, you're supposed to be on it.
I am, which is why I don't feel bad for the guy you're not on the meeting with. um, okay, I'm gonna do this real quick. So forgive that this is like totally not a whole lot of information here, but I'm making a donation link that you can use a regular credit card on. Should have done this ahead of time, but hey, this is more fun.
Dan, I really appreciate you doing this for me.
No, absolutely, man.
We still got 43 minutes for me, and it takes about 10 minutes to get down to the pharmacy from where I'm at if I book it. And I'm a libertarian, so I will book it.
Awesome. Well, don't get any tickets on the way there. Okay. So I'm posting in the comments now. This is my PayPal link. This is my donation link to use credit cards. So if you're watching, if you see these links come up, and I'm going to send another couple links in a second, you can send to any of those links. Anything that goes to me, I'm going to forward right along to Josh. Let's see. Here is Cash App. If you have Cash App, you can send it here. That goes directly to Josh. And once you send it, just leave a little comment there. And here we've got Venmo, Joshua-dial-5. Make sure you put the 5 at the end. And Zelle,
you remember, folks, it doesn't hurt to help people, right?
Right.
Reach out, give $5, give $10, give 15, give 100. You know, $5 is $5.
Yep. And I think Myra said she was trying to send something.
Where the hell's Karen? Karen should be in on this.
I did see her in the comments. Let's see.
Come on, Karen. Don't be a Karen, be a Karen.
Karen is Karen.
Sorry, I hate to be looking down, but like I'm trying to get a hold
definitely.
of.
Give us the update, and
yeah, I mean, I had one. I was kind of waiting on Dorinda because I really haven't had anyone else, but I was trying to check my spam and my flag messages, make sure like since I'm maxed out with my friends, like I don't get all the messages that I should, I guess. But yeah, I'm still waiting for Dorinda on. Maybe she can do that through your end.
Yeah, so Dorinda, if you're still having issues, use the donor box link that I posted, which I just totally realized I added an extra H to the end of Josh's name. Ouch. Okay. Shit. So Myra said she just sent something, but she didn't type the -5.
Oh shit. Oh no.
Let's see.
We'd be able to resend that.
Yeah, with was that with Venmo?
If it was with like Cash App, I think you can. No, if it's Joshua-dial-5 without the dash, that was Venmo. Oh my gosh! Darn it!
All right, let's see if we can figure this out.
You know, Josh, I know what it's like to go without health care. About an hour before this podcast, I pulled my own molar.
Really?
Yep, I have to pull my own teeth because dentists won't work on me because I'm disabled.
Really? Well, actually, and I'll share something that I'm really embarrassed about. So before working campaigns, like I'm just a normal Joe, working average jobs, making, $300 a week, barely able to pay the bills. So I have a genetic, in my family, all men in my family have bad teeth. All men have lost all their teeth by the age of 30. So I took good care of my teeth, right? So I have, these teeth here, and that's why I'm 31. I saw these teeth. However, I lost this tooth and every tooth back here and the one back here. And people are like, "Oh, meth addict." Well, first of all, I just ignore them. I've never touched a shit. Fuck them. Um, you know, if you don't understand genetics, then that's your problem. What it is you go to the dentist, and even if you have insurance, they say, "Well, here's what we can do. We can do a root canal for $6,000 to $7,000, and you have to pay right now because you don't have good enough credit, or we can pull it for $200." And unfortunately, every tooth that I am missing, I was in a situation where pay $6,000 now or pull it and get out of pain.
You want to meet my dentist? I'll introduce you to my dentist.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I'm embarrassed. That's why, like, you notice, like, I cover my mouth like this whole, like, it's embarrassing. But, like, I feel like it's like I should start telling people, like, talking to people about this,
Absolutely.
Because I know I'm not the only person that's had to make that difficult decision of sitting in the dentist chair and going looking like a vets person, or somehow selling your car or something, I guess, to pay for one tooth. What are you supposed to do?
Root canals are actually bad for you too.
Really?
Because the center of your tooth is porous, it's sepsis. There's no way to get a root canal and not have continual sepsis, which is bad for your heart, leads to further infection, even leads to weight gain, hormonal imbalance. And I know in Australia and other countries, they're actually advising against root canals, whereas here in the States, they still butcher you.
All right.
Okay, I got Dorinda, so I think let's see if Facebook Pay will work. I think though she might have had to already have set it up through her account. Let's try this.
Yeah. If you're using any of the links there, make sure you spell them right or copy them right. Cash App is Joshua B Dial, and Venmo is Joshua-Dial-5.
Dorinda, it says you're unable to receive money, so you'll have to do it through PayPal or
yeah. So let her know. Send her this link. Here, let me send you this link.
So the difference between my tooth and Josh is that I have a solution at hand, and Josh, he needs this money to get his solution.
I'm sorry. What I was trying to respond to Dorinda.
So I just sent you a link. If you send that link to Dorinda, she can pay there with a credit card, and I'll just forward whatever she sends to you.
Okay.
And Karen is working on sending something right
Dorinda, now. She's trying to get us to she says she has it set up and she's wanting to walk her through it. So Dorinda, if you're on, can you type something say here? So I know this guy's got to go. But I mean, I'm also 20 minutes away from the pharmacy.
Yeah, you gotta get out the door. So how much
you get on your way? We'll make sure you get that money.
How much have you received as of right now?
Okay, I'm adding everything because I just had one of the people that were following me on Facebook, um, one of my Facebook or AMIT. Is that someone that's on with us? Donated $5. So let's see. Um,
I think I might know who that is.
so I think $195, right?
So we have 195.
No, no, still need 195.
100. Okay.
We
Um,
got, I got
We'll make
50.
sure Myra and Karen come through.
so okay, yeah. So I'm gonna do this.
And
So
I may be
Myra.
able the 60 from Dorinda, but I can't figure that out.
Okay.
That's the other.
So I think let's do this. I think between Myra and Karen and Dorinda, I think we have the rest of it covered. So let's do this, guys. I wanna give you guys the the happy ending that we met our goal and everything's good and get Josh on his way. But it sounds like we're gonna have to get offline and kind of work this out so that we can make sure that he's got the money so he can get going. So I'm gonna wrap up this live stream. I'll make a post later tonight, hopefully with some great news. But thank you everybody so much for your support.
Thank
And
you guys so much. Thank you everyone very much.
yeah,
Josh,
and
reach out if you need somebody to talk to.
Do what?
Reach out if you need somebody to talk to. I'm here.
Okay, absolutely, absolutely. I appreciate that, man. I really do, and I look forward to helping you with with any campaign help you may need.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
all right,
absolutely.
guys. I'll see you next time, and guys, I'll actually stay on the Zoom call and we'll just keep talking.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.